Okay, being as it's 4:45, we'll call the August Park and Rec meeting to order. Any changes to the agenda?
Nope.
Make a motion to adopt the agenda. Motion made and second to adopt the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Anybody with public input, anything that's not on the agenda? Okay. Discuss on maintenance and or replacement of the Hatton Park wall. Who wants to start that? Ginger? Yeah?
I guess. Yeah, so I took a little walk and took some pictures of the wall in case you were curious about them. If you hadn't been out there in a while, I took a variety of pictures. Some it's not so bad, and some it's obviously really bad. These are portions that you probably the average person wouldn't see. This is way in the back corner. It is right off the trail though. So if somebody were walking on the trail, they would see that. This is right off of West Jennings Road, coming out from Cedarhurst there. And so that's very visible, but you can even tell by the vegetation around it that that's pure swamp right there. So there's different places where it's really visible, but it probably wouldn't be smart to fix it because of the land that it's on. So I know that we want to just discuss about, getting somebody to come in and look at repairing it, or how much that's going to cost after the previous bids that we got, or quotes that we got from Chad. And I talked to the Stevens Point Parks and Recreation Department has a lot of these structures built by WPA. And they've put a lot of money into, namely their football stadium. So Stevens Point Parks and Recreation Department, yeah. He sent me their bid packet for that. I haven't had a chance to really look through it much, but it's a lot of money. So I guess it's all up for what you guys are looking to want to do with it. We had talked about a public forum, if you want to run through that, but
I'm thinking that's the route we were thinking of taking. Am I correct? Is everybody here kind of, I don't know the mayor now, is he on?
He's on Zoom. Yep.
Yeah, I'm here, Bob.
Now, where you're in favor of having a couple of public hearings or something at Washington Center or someplace to get some input from the public on what they want to do with the wall?
Correct. I think they should be the driver behind the decision that's made on this one.
Anybody else got any, Mike?
One thing I think we should, before we have that meeting, we should have some rough ideas of costs so that we can present them to the people. I mean, we've got to inform them of both sides, not just the fact that it looks bad, what it's going to cost us, or somewhat of an idea of what, so that people know both sides of the story.
Fred?
I think the sections like, especially off Jennings Street where it's not that visible to the public, instead of rebuilding a whole wall, I would think there's a way we could, I don't want to use the word patch it, but put some vegetation back in there where it's all swamp, rather than going through all the work of putting a base and relaying stone and rock there, because that's been that way, I swear to God, since I was a kid, off Jennings Street there.
Have you got a picture by the stadium entrance?
I don't have this. That's where this is.
That one-
Yeah.
No, that's off Jennings.
Outside, yeah, off of Jennings, but
Yeah.
no, nothing right by the stadium.
Which one?
I don't have any.
Oh, there is
By
one
the,
right
I'm
here.
talking the salt entrance into
Yeah.
the stadium, what the wall would look like say a block
Uh-huh.
to the west along there, just when you're coming up by Cedarhurst. I know that's where it's kind of swampy along there.
Yeah.
Where
Yep.
that starts decaying is right where that culvert goes through. or-
Culvert is?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is, that's
From there
that's
to
this
Poppy's
picture right
property.
here.
Yeah. That's off
It's all-
Jennings.
That's right there.
Screwed up.
Okay.
Right.
Even if like having somebody come in and demolish correctly, taking that all apart and like you said, putting some kind of vegetation, some kind of making it look nice and not just having crumbling wall there,
I agree with Mike. We need to have some kind of a plan, some kind of bids before we can talk about this. So we're blue in the face. But if we have nothing, a plan of what we're going to do, you said you talked to Stevens Point Park and
Mhm.
Rec. Do they have any contractors that they suggested we could reach out to get some bids?
all of their work is done by a tuck pointer out of what city did I say? Down,
South
Before-
of here, wasn't it?
yeah, it was done by Madison, but it was not a mason. I mean, masons are tuck pointers, obviously, but it's a little bit more detailed of work being done, which is appropriate for something like this. It wasn't DeForest. I can't.
I think going into this, like the other two gentlemen said, you do have to go into it with a budget and a couple of different ideas to present to the public with an understanding of let's make a choice to move forward. You can't just go ahead and say, hey, this is what it's going to cost for this. They're going to have a lot of questions. Well, what is option B? What is option C? And so on like that, and give them a limited idea of, hey, we do have a couple ideas we can do. What direction would you like to see the city take? Again, with the budget, we have to get Judy involved and find out what kind of budget the city has currently. If we're going to ask for contribution from the public in all aspects. I mean, there's a lot of footwork to go in behind to present this to the forum.
Otherwise, I did reach out to Gallagher's office, our 8th district congressman, and they suggested that we could apply for a community development block grant. I don't know if we've done any of those in the past.
Not for this particular, but other projects.
Okay, I know the deadline was May 13th or something like that, so maybe we could look into that for next year, applying for a grant.
Mhm.
to help pay for it.
Would be a good idea.
The company was Holton Brothers Construction out of Grafton. So,
I think that with the costs that are starting to incur with this is maybe we need to work on retaining the entrances and perhaps the corners and removing the rest, but just kind of maintaining the big
the
parts.
facades.
Yeah. That, so you still have the wall. It's just not, I don't think it's, physically, I don't know how you keep maintaining that.
Well, I
It's gonna
was
keep breaking down.
even inside the stadium today, you can see like I was going up into, just looking at going up into the grandstands, and that area needs tuck pointing in order for it not to crumble. So those are the portions that are the big
We got,
important
Go ahead, John.
spots.
I agree with Tim and Mr. Barrington that we all know something's got to be done, but if we're gonna have a public forum,
Mhm.
I think September is not enough time to put the information together. We'd be having a look at October here, because you're gonna want rough ideas of cost, obviously, and we kind of know what 40 feet or whatever, 100 feet,
Mhm.
100 feet would cost, but we'd be looking for ideas of strategy, what Billy just said. Let's look at the end caps, the facades. We'd want to have a method of asking those people that come to the forum. We'd want some theories or suggestions on how would people feel about removing those bad sections, fundraising ideas, and then budgetary wise. Obviously, when that ladder truck, that's what, now 20 years old, or it's the new ladder truck, but it's like the high school. It's the new high school, but it's 20
Yeah,
years old
right.
and paid for. But you don't just go and replace a wall or a fire truck. You need to budget so much a year for that maintenance. And so as far as you need to have some options for people to say, well, how much would your pallet, how much comfort would you have in $40,000 a year being put aside in capital to go fund that wall? Knowing that each year the costs are gonna go up or whatever, or other options, somebody, what stuff needs real expert care, and like some of the back stuff can the about face. I think Bob brought it up earlier at what about some group that is qualified to do maybe some of those not so visible, but all of that has to come out at the forum. And so I realistically don't think that 3 weeks or a month is enough to get all that ready for a public forum in September. So I would think that if we start thinking about a date, we're all on the same page of all the things that need to get talked about. Just my opinion. If we are talking about a date for some kind of meeting like that, I think October would be the very earliest. And realistically, that we could get any kind of information like that together.
I think this is something we gotta have. Go ahead, Chad.
I think Johnny's nailed it on the head. Number one, to present the ideas. Number two, with the budget, what's the budget?
Mhm.
That is going to be extremely hard to come up with. What's the cost? Because this section doesn't mean much. This section is destroyed. This section, there's so many different conditions throughout the whole wall. To say this is the budget is going to be nearly impossible. I think you're right on saying, what are you willing to spend on it? And then that's what it is each year. That's what
Mhm.
your palette is the spend on the ongoing maintenance. And it's ongoing. It's never going to go away. And then Ginger brought up a good point. We never even talked about the stadium. Now there's a Hatton Stadium Foundation who's trying to fundraise for some things.
Right.
But if they aren't successful in that, are you going to let the stadium, fall apart too? So, I mean, there's other decisions. So maybe what we do is we sit down, we talk about, because you guys are going to want options to present, like you said. Maybe we come up with the different options, maybe for the next meeting, just to kind of kick it around to you guys and say, okay, these are the different options we've thought of to present. Have you guys massage those things? And then if that's cool with you, then we look at promoting and then doing the public forum later on.
Mhm.
Because we can sit here for an hour and just go through over and over and over. But I think Ginger and I can sit down and come up with some streamlined type things just to start the conversation. And then if you guys like that, run with that. And if not,
Mhm.
add this option or remove that option.
There's all those factors like what Tim brought up with
Yep.
grant options.
The grant options, yep.
Calling your representative is a great idea. We do have a lot of CBD grants kind of money coming into the city at this given moment, but there's always new cycles and
Mhm.
and everybody knows that's a.
And I don't think we want to set a date now when we're gonna have a forum, because
Right.
there's so much stuff to be talked about. We can run this for 2 or 3 months now till we get what we think we got a plan down, do a little bit each, like we are right now.
Yeah.
And then keep bringing it
Bob?
back and taking stuff away. Go ahead.
Bob, can I make a suggestion that maybe we start a subcommittee on this within the Park and Rec?
That's a thought.
I think that's a good idea. This is Kelly. Just in listening to everybody sounds like they have fantastic ideas. And, I agree with everyone from the standpoint that, even putting it out, we're in August, September, October. I think you have to decide and go get estimates, what it would look like, if you're going to give a public forum, are you going to be removing part of the wall, removing all of the wall? Repairing all of the wall, what are the different options? Do you add some sort of landscaping, et cetera? And then, once you find out, could we move forward with some sort of budget grant next year or whatever it may be then present those options at a public forum and get feedback when you have actual, estimates of numbers, et cetera.
Yeah, good idea. Mark, how many people are you thinking about having on a subcommittee? 3 or 4?
Yeah, I would think you'd start with at least 3 and then go from there and give them from this meeting right now, giving them an objective to come back with at our next meeting, whether that be develop 3 different alternatives and then come up with a plan for that. And then at the next meeting, come up with a budget, but break it down into small portions. And maybe this is going to take a, but start out with 3. And like I said, every month, give a few objectives to bring back to the next meeting. Or if they discover something, we can definitely act on it sooner than that. But yeah.
Yeah, I think the issue with having, a public forum too soon is we don't have it narrowed down enough. And you get, too much I want, I need, I don't like, or, this wall means something. And I don't necessarily know what those opinions or such look like, but I just think you have to kind of narrow it down to what our options are and what the costs are.
Ginger, would you be willing to say head to subcommittee? Is there anybody here that would like to serve on a subcommittee?
I could, Bob.
I'm not part of the Park and Rec, so can I?
Doesn't make any difference. You could, I don't think you have to be involved in Park and Rec, would
Say
you?
get 3 people on board right now and
Yeah.
and Ginger and I can. the 3
I don't
people
even
down.
I don't even know that the people need to be on
No.
the committee. We can have citizen volunteers as well.
Yeah, that's why I say you don't have to be on the Park and Rec committee. You just to bring back a report. So Fred, you'd want to do it?
And I would like to do that.
That enough then? 2? You, Ginger?
It's up to
and
whoever wants to
2 and Ginger?
be into it.
If somebody really is passionate in the community, I don't think you stop it at that, but if you
Right.
start getting
Well, sure.
you start getting more than 5 and then we talk
Right.
about it like we do here.
Yeah.
We got a-
exactly.
And we got a committee again. We don't want that.
Right,
But a subcommittee sounds like a good
Maybe
idea.
somebody from the Hatton Park Foundation.
foundation, that wouldn't be a bad.
We can meet at the pool in the water.
Yeah, if you want to get somebody from the Hatton Foundation.
I can look into that.
Yeah,
I don't
that might
know
be a good
who's real active, like,
Yeah, they haven't met
they
since
haven't met.
COVID, so
Yeah,
They were what?
they haven't met or
Oh.
meeting since COVID started.
Maybe this will help spark new interest.
yeah, absolutely. I can reach out to the past members.
Anybody got anything else they want to talk about on the Hatton Wall? Otherwise, we'll leave it at that. Okay, sculptures in the park.
All right.
Want to step up here and
Uh,
give us your ideas or thoughts?
So you want to introduce again, Ginger?
Yeah, this is Tony Hendrickson from the Wolf River Art League. We actually were able to connect at the Wolf River cleanup again, and she came and picked up some things from there. And I don't see anything here on that. Oh yeah, absolutely I do. The pickaxe was one of the things we found on the river. So yeah, go ahead and
I wasn't able to attend the river cleanup because I threw my back out again.
And Tony, if you want to come up, just so you can hit a microphone,
yeah.
because
Here,
the people
you
on,
sit right here.
if you wouldn't mind.
Thank you.
oh yeah, so the mayor and everybody can hear you on Zoom.
So I threw my back out just before the river cleanup, so I wasn't able to attend because I was getting. But on Father's Day, the kids and I and the father went to a sculpture park in Stevens Point that we didn't know was there. We were just in the area looking for things to do. And we found the Stevens Point Sculpture Park. And I sent some photos along to show examples of what they have there. And I know that we were talking about just putting sculptures here and there around wherever I could get away with it. But being at that park was really inspiring to me because it was a designated place place in the city for all of these different sculptures and signs and things. The signs just I thought were really neat, but there was tons of things, like there was a giant circle of stones or a large wooden sculpture made out of, like, that was at a different park in Marshfield, but it's same kind of feeling. And I was kind of wanting to pose that idea to everybody here to see if maybe that could be something we could try to do instead of just putting random sculptures throughout the city. Because I don't know how many people hang out at Hatton Park on the paths or the trails or whatever. I know the last time I tried to, there were too many bugs, so I didn't get very far. But I thought it would be kind of neat to hide little things like that. And the last time that I was here, you guys wanted to see what I could do that wasn't huge and obtrusive, so that was the best I could come up with on the notice. The unless is a reference to the Lorax, which is a Dr. Seuss book about conservation and how if you don't take care of your environment, you're not going to have it. And so that's my pitch.
Anybody got any questions?
No, don't they have something like this at the?
Botanical Gardens in Green Bay got it.
Yes, because my daughter came home just like raving about how cool it was.
I got a
and
whole
all the
phone
stuff
of
they found in
pictures.
the ocean. It's Botanical Gardens in Green Bay.
Oh.
It's a big exhibit right now. It's really neat.
What you have, Bernie?
I got a,
What were you saying
I got a whole phone full of pictures from there.
of the sculptures?
Yeah, what's at Green Bay Botanical Gardens is like a traveling exhibit right now, but
Oh, yeah, that's right.
for example, there's a whole sturgeon from that end of the table to Tony. It's huge. It's like Stanley the sturgeon, but it's all made out of like water bottle pop tops and shotgun wadding and shells and different plastics. Things were, until I went and saw it after this came up on a topic as a future agenda item. Then I went with my daughter and my wife and we saw it and I thought, okay, how can you, I see what the stuff we pull out of the river looks like. How can you? And it's amazing but it's one piece at a time. And so, you know,
That was what
it's
I,
not all, these pictures really don't do that kind of thing justice,
No,
but
it's
that
so
would take
hard.
a long time to accumulate
yeah,
some of that stuff.
Well, and the interesting part about the Stevens Point Park is that there are people from all over the nation that have their sculptures in that park. So maybe that would bring people from, say, my buddy in Tennessee has a sculpture in Hatton Park. I'm gonna bring my friends from Tennessee to see that. I don't know. But I know that Stevens Point, it's all different artists from all over the world almost, so.
I think for the purposes of this committee, I think what you're looking for is maybe just like a nod to say, well, you know, we wouldn't object to the concept, not necessarily all of a sudden all these 27 sculptures we had no idea were going to appear. But, you know, the concept I think should, me personally, I would support it.
that's all I'm looking for.
I think would be,
I
go
would too.
ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I would support that too. I totally agree.
I think it should be kind of like we were doing with the paintings. If you come up with a idea or something, a concept where you want to put it, then bring it back to the committee and we can kind of give it our blessings or how we feel about it. I don't have any objections. Anybody else got any comments about that?
The only concern I have is, what about liability? If somebody cuts himself on a sculpture, is it gonna?
Would that be recreational immunity?
I would think.
I think that'd be a factor, but I think you got a good point. We just need to look into that, whether it's something that we need to create a buffer, you know,
A sign?
Stevens
know,
Point is a
lines.
Civic insurance company, so I
Yep.
can talk to Civic and ask if they have any
Yep.
qualms about it.
And would the sculptures just be on public property or private property?
So my thought, and this was just a thought after speaking with Tony, is Hatton Park has a lot of trails and a lot of trails that are not used. And I was thinking maybe we say only down this trail.
Yeah.
This is your art trail. Just a thought.
It would be like a fun hunt or a
Portion of
mystery.
Hatton.
Right,
They
Mike?
just come upon.
Will be interested in something?
If you're putting them off the trail though, it could actually grow to be on all the trails.
Yeah.
No,
And if
not
it's
like
off the
blocking
trail,
the
then
trail.
Right.
people are
You put
encouraged to
'em off.
stay on it.
We have plenty of space at Hatton Park to put them up.
Go ahead, Mike.
My concern being the devil's advocate, who is gonna maintain these? We have been for years in order to keep our budgets down as low as possible. We have been taking our workforce down to where we probably are almost too low.
Well, if the Wolf River Art League is in charge of maintaining their murals on buildings. I had some issues with the one at the Aquatic and Fitness Center. There was peeling on it. There was some spots that just weren't right and they came and fixed it. I don't know if that would be the same kind of,
To do that.
We'd probably have to come up with some
An
type of
agreement.
expectation saying, okay, this is, we're agreeing to it being sit out there for 5 years, 10 years. Well, I mean, whatever the committee wants to come up with, saying that, it's going to be there. The city reserves the right to move it, remove it if we deem necessary for whatever reason. If there is something that needs to be maintained, we understand who's going to maintain it. Just set up those expectations right up the front.
guidelines, yeah.
The liability part of it, like Tim was talking about, we can get that all figured out. We can talk to Civic and Stevens Point. But like Bob said, I would recommend that
Have pride in it.
whatever it is, because the planning commission dealt with this exact same thing with the art league now. They want to just making sure that it's going in the direction that everybody feels the same about. Because I mean, honestly, art can be different things to different people. So it can be very great to somebody and not so great to other people. So I think whatever Tony would like to do, if you could bring an exact sketch or, the best you can. I know it's kind of hard. Sometimes you just get into something you like to, but something to kind of give these guys a really good idea of what it is. So they feel comfortable saying, yes, we'd like that, rock with that, and kind of go from there.
I do have two more ideas after this one. Because this, all I have to do is hit it with a clear coat and it could sit outside for years. But we have pieces cut that I tried to do for this, but they didn't fit for a large trillium flower that would be about this big. And then I have a quarter barrel on a rack that I'm hoping will be a bumblebee in the future. Just smaller, like you guys had suggested the last time I was here, is just to make sure it's a smaller scale thing. So, they wouldn't be much larger than that, but I have sketches already for those things.
Anybody got any other questions for her?
Or your tail.
So would she be coming to get approval for each art piece, just like the
I would.
murals?
Yeah, that's what my suggestion would be, that
Yep.
we would approve it as long as she comes back with what we can see. Because that gas drum one they had down in Appleton, I mean, that has been real controversial.
Mhm.
So we don't want to be
Right.
in something like that.
Oh,
So,
yeah, I don't want to get in trouble either.
yeah. So I would make, do we need a motion for this, you think, Ginger, or not?
I think we got to work on some of those topics first.
Yeah.
Now we've got a good idea of where it's going.
Once
like
we
this.
have the guidelines and the liability and stuff
Okay.
like that taken out.
Or
Yeah.
then you want to come back to the committee again with us and we'll.
Absolutely.
And one
Bob?
point just hit me.
Bob?
Oh, go
I
ahead,
would-
Mark.
I'd just like to mention the fact that people like to see a lot of things that are native to New London or directed towards New London, whether it's history, heritage, fishing, wildlife, that kind of stuff. I just wanted to throw that out there to keep in the back of the minds for future reference. Thank you.
Ginger and Tony, this one at Stevens Point.
Yeah.
Is it out in the open or is it kind of tucked back? The only point that I just kind of come up with right now is if these are tucked back in the back of Hatton along the trail, let's be honest, we are susceptible to vandalism. And these are probably gonna get
Yep.
hit back there where nobody's looking at them, so I
My
don't want.
birds have already
that
been vandalized.
to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Ginger just had a bunch of birds that, and they're in the open.
Oh, yeah.
Put them where there's a lot of traffic. you mean,
Well, I'm just
instead.
saying that's something we gotta think about, because I wouldn't want all this to go in the back and then some kids
Yeah.
go back there and
That was a concern of mine.
we're
too.
not,
Look how dark it is down Jennings Street.
we're susceptible to that, so something to think about.
Depend
You
on
got it?
location throughout there.
Anybody got any other questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank
First
you.
thing is-
You're putting a lot of work into this. I appreciate it.
Sure. Yep, thanks.
I would envision like the process for bringing a sketch forward and then from there you would decide number two, where would
We
it go?
literally found that.
Okay, boat launch project update, discussion on kayak launch.
Okay, so the boat launch docks, the new ones. Do you want to just go through that?
Anticipated from Schmidt Boat Docks as of last Thursday or Friday. They were about 2 weeks out before we see our first just the boat docks. And then with the kayak launch, I updated Chad and Ginger on this one. Supplies, vendors, we're at the mercy of the vendors. And we're in a weird world right now, so they're hoping best case scenario, cautiously optimistic, and quote Neil Schmidt at the end of August.
So with that being said, we have had some questions from the public, mentions on Facebook, things like that about fees and are you gonna charge for launching a kayak? So looked into it a little bit at what people are doing or what communities are doing in the area. Most, it varies, but the common theme is if you're taking up a parking spot in a boat launch ramp, then you should be paying a fee. And I think that would make sense. We're paying good money to have nice facilities, and I think people would honor that. It's really up to you guys what we do decide, but some thoughts into that would personally, as a kayaker, I can throw truck, and I would expect to only pay for my parking spot for one truck. Same thing with the trailer. You can fit some trailers. You can fit 8 on, and I don't know if paying piece by piece, kayak by kayak, is necessarily something that any community that I've found has did. About as well is, so you're not bringing a trailer right now. Our launch stickers are supposed to be on the trailer. So is that, then we're gonna have to move into a policy of putting it on a front windshield, like a state park pass. So just some thoughts into that.
I would agree with not per kayak.
Right.
I think you're right on when they got 4 of them on the trailer. That's one launch. I can't see charging them for each boat,
Right.
each kayak.
For the kayak stickers, can't you just make them like a board of vinyl on it they can stick in the window? I know the boat launch stickers go right on the trailer of the boat, but
So a separate one
Yeah, but
for,
if you dock your boat and you don't have a sticker, you get a receipt printed right out to you.
Mhm.
That's supposed to go in the windshield of your truck.
yeah, but what I'm saying is like, for me, I buy the boat launch, I buy the annual one. 'Cause I'm not paying $5 every time I launch my boat, and that's a physical sticker that you stick on your trailer. People
Right.
ain't going to stick these on their cars. So you'd use the board of vinyl one that they could stick in the window or throw on the dash.
For sure. I
You just
agree
have
with
to
you.
have 2 different kinds of stickers, that's all.
Yeah.
Well, and the county, that's why the county moved to the ones in the windshields, because then it just is for everyone. So that if I got a boat and I've got a kayak, am I buying 2 stickers then? One for my boat, one for the kayak launch? Then I'm buying 2 stickers. And
I
that
can go to
case-
all the same sticker too, yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Something that
And that's why
goes-
the county went to just the windshield one, so that if you bring kayaks in the truck, boom, you're good. If you
Yeah.
bring your boat with the truck, boom, you're good. And if you feel, because we have right now the 3 levels, if you have 1 boat for an annual, if you have a second boat on the trailer, there is a reduced rate for that second sticker that we currently have.
Yeah.
It goes,
That would help
And I would do
people
both.
have multiple boats if it's just in the windshield of their truck.
Or people that have a boat and a kayak.
Yep.
Would have
Mhm.
to
Then
just
if you
buy a
got-
different sticker.
Yeah.
But then if you just got the sticker in the front windshield of your truck, you're good.
You can
For
just
everything.
yeah,
take-
see, there's where you would lose some revenue is the people with multiple boats.
Yeah.
Is, there's, believe it or not, a lot of people in town that have
With a
two
fishing
boats.
boat and a pontoon.
And so
or,
there's
yeah.
where the idea of, which putting it on a trailer is kind of, I don't like that. But I get it because this is a town where some people have 2 or 3 boats.
Right.
I don't think we'd lose any revenue though, because now we're gaining the kayak.
Well, no, if you
And that-
make,
and that money all
if
has
you
to go
go,
into the
You can
landings
take 3
anyway.
boats with
if you
one car.
remove all, if you take the sticker off the trailer and put it on the windshield, now you've lost.
See, I got 3 boats.
Yep.
Okay? My first one cost me $20. The next 2 cost me $10. So that's $40. If you take that sticker that costs you $20 a year and put it in your window, I don't have to register or have it for 2 boats. I can take any boat I want, and put it in the water.
Yep.
Then, so
But
you're,
you're gaining all the people that have,
Like
kayaks
myself
only.
that doesn't have.
You know
a
what I'm
boat
saying?
that
because
we
now,
can
now
buy
they're
it.
paying a launch fee. I
Yeah, but
understand that you're
they're
losing.
still gonna have to buy a sticker to put in their vehicle, because the people,
Yep.
most of the people that got kayaks don't have a fishing boat.
Oh.
We could have a specific sticker for kayak, a kayak sticker. What different color or something like that? What difference would that make? And you could put that on the windshield.
I think it's kind of.
I would think just
think
make
you
it
need to
easy
keep
for
it
everyone.
pretty
Huh?
simple.
Make it easy, make it simple.
I honestly think that it would be a wash with the people like myself that don't have a motorboat of any kind, but I have a kayak, so I'm going to, like Dave said, start paying this launch fee. But we'd have to see, we can certainly go into our system and see how many multiple boats are out there and if that would be an issue.
Well, just to
It
see the
would
way,
be a
just to see
super
the way
simple
they,
switch.
to see the way they cheat.
Yep.
Is the one guy that comes
Yeah.
down with his wife comes down, drops him off with the
Oh.
boat. She drives away.
I
When he's
just-
done fishing, he calls up, she comes back and he goes out. So I mean, they're gonna beat the system no matter what you do.
Yep.
I like to keep it simple for now because it's actually not revenue. It's to upgrade the boat launches and the docks and stuff. So it's, you have time to. You don't necessarily have to go for every dollar right off the bat because the money has to be used there anyway,
Right, Mike?
Well,
you know.
I don't have either one. My question is, just so I understand what's going on. Do you pay each time you launch a boat or you can?
Yeah.
You
the way
can do
it
it either
sounds-
way.
Or you buy a yearly launch.
Or you buy a yearly.
I, believe me, I've sold over $1 million worth. More
A
than the city,
million.
more than
Well,
the
I guess
city
in your
has.
lifetime,
In
yeah.
my lifetime,
Yeah,
I've
you have
sold well
probably.
over $1 million.
Yeah.
I believe it.
It's $5 a time. All right. A lot of people will go 2 or 3 times and then they realize, Tim, you just bought a boat last year. They realize, well, I could have bought an annual sticker for, so then that's fine. But then the more years they have it, and they might get a John boat, then they go and they buy the second sticker for their second trailer. But like Bernie said, soon as I honestly believe you're underestimating how much revenue you're gonna lose on that second. Just to make room for, okay, I see a lot of more kayaks every year, a lot more kayaks. But I'm telling you that you're not gonna make up the revenue by, I think it's simpler to just do the window sticker, and if you ask the police, the window sticker is
Mhm.
better. I wouldn't have to spend 40 hours of a year explaining where people put the sticker, and
Yeah.
they still put it on the wrong side. However, you're underestimating how much revenue you're gonna lose, and it is about revenue, especially if you're gonna spend 80 grand on a kayak launch. Okay, that it is about revenue then, Dave, but then all of a sudden, he's got his 3 boats, he gets $40, he's got all 3 boat stickers. Then his neighbor goes, we're gonna go fishing. Well, we'll just take my truck because I got a sticker on my truck. Then you just fixed a way to stop the cheaters with the electronic boat launches. But then you just created another way for people to cheat.
Yep.
Or then you're gonna get somebody that's all pissed off because I got a big boat and a small boat. And I got a sticker on my small truck, my S10, that I usually pull my flat bottom with, but now I want to put You're gonna have this guy pulling in with a
Mm.
Bayliner and a S10 like this, because he's got the sticker on the. So it's not just a simple thing. It's
Yeah.
seriously, I'm not too much, but this has to be thought out. You need to look at how many secondary stickers are sold
Mhm.
for second boats and third boats, but then you need to look at how many actual kayaks get launched. I mean, I know April, who's on the committee. Um, those people I see every weekend, but a lot of the other people are just here and gone, or they park another vehicle at another place and you don't really see them. I know that there's a dire parking shortage down there as it is. If you end up spending a bunch of money on a kayak only launch, yeah, people are gonna come for that. Then you're gonna realize, okay, how do you, you
Yes,
know,
why don't you just test the waters for the first year and just have no annual launch fee? See how many kayakers use it. That way, you're not getting different stickers and getting it all messy, but you have to charge for it because they are taking up spots. And all of a sudden there's going to be a million kayakers and all the boaters going to be like, hey, I can't get in the water because there's no place to park.
Yeah.
So just for the first year, I just do $5 per vehicle. You can't enforce per boat. There's no way. We have a 2-hour parking limit downtown. Nobody listens to it. You're not going to enforce every kayak. So at least every parking spot, just do the $5, just like a regular boat launch. Try it out for a year, and then you'll know how many people are using it. And
I got a crazy comment.
Mhm.
I know what a kayak is. It's a boat launch, 80 grand. I mean, I would think you'd take your kayak, get it where the regular boats launched in. You crawl in your kayak, push yourself off, and away you go.
I think we're talking about 80, where you slide ADA accessible kayak.
Yeah,
launch.
they're made so that it's
For handicap.
easier, yeah,
They're what?
for
Yeah,
handicap
handicap.
accessible, so that, because it's quite hard to get in and out of a kayak if you're.
Well, you're so.
If you're over 20, it's hard to get in and out of
I
it.
have to get an extra tall, long one. Chad has a
Okay, just
question
a
or
smile.
comment. Yep,
I
yeah,
was just pulling a
It's
number out of
accessible.
my head there, Fred.
Yeah,
But the only thing I agree with you, Tim, do it on a trial basis. However, if somebody goes kayaking 50 times a year, 50 times 5 is what? Now, it's unfair to them if somebody that Dave and I go put our set line in and we put our here, we paid $20 for an annual pass.
So then you're just gonna have to do it with 2 different stickers. You're still gonna have to sticker the boats and you're just
that's
gonna have to have a window type sticker for the kayaks.
That's what I'm thinking is the easiest solution to it is just
You're
a
still
window
gonna have to tell
sticker.
them where to put the stickers,
Yep.
that's all.
Right.
Forget it.
I don't mind that. but, one last thing is, I know that the getting the stickers is always a problem. Getting them in time, and how many do you order? So just something as a suggestion, what the townships did for raft permits is rather than 11 different townships having 11 different stickers made and 11 different colors out there, they made a universal one. And then at the point where if you bought it for a trailered boat with a WS registration number on it, then that goes on your trailer. But if it's a kayak sticker, then they take a puncher, a hole punch. Whoever sells the ticket, whether it's the city hall or a vendor like us, you punch that. So you have the same sticker, but at the point of sale, Michelle or my wife Ann or whoever it is, whoever sells that sticker or somebody up front punches that, marks the sticker, and then that determines whether they put it on their windshield or their trailer, because obviously, so it's just something to think about rather than have the cost of producing 2 separate, totally different stickers. Now police officers got to look.
I was thinking that too, just about the police department, and they're gonna have to, they're the ones,
That's their job.
and they're doing it.
have to-
Yeah.
She's doing a good job.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. They're doing it very well
Right.
now.
It's about time.
Yeah.
That's their job. I mean, if that's.
What
they gotta do,
about
that's what they
back
gotta do.
bumper?
the same sticker that goes on the trailer, to
Right.
slap it on the back bumper. That makes
Exactly.
sense.
Yeah.
I think we can figure out the logistics of that. I think what it
Yeah.
comes down to this committee is, do you like the idea of going to one sticker for everything? Do you want to go 2 different permits for 2 different, one for the boat, one for kayak canoes? And is that cost going to be the same? Is the cost going to be different? That we can bring up scenarios
Yeah.
and bring that to you next month. To Johnny's point, how much revenue we're going to lose by if we would go to one sticker, like the double boats and stuff like that. We got that data. We can
Yeah.
find that out
Easy.
easy. We could tell you exactly, it's for this year, we would lose $250 or whatever it would be. We can tell you that. We have the records.
Yep.
And if you would like that, to keep it simple for one sticker, we haven't raised our annual price in a long time. You could consider, maybe this is the year you raise up the annual cost $5, and then it includes everything as an
Mhm.
option as well. So, but where the sticker goes, blah, 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 I think that's something that we could just
Right.
figure out, present to you, if this is what we're gonna do, but I think for you guys to decide, number one, do you want to have 2 stickers? Do you have, or 2 permits? Do you want to have one permit for everything?
Yep.
And if so, you raise up the rates. We haven't done it in a long time. It could be the time to raise up the rates too, for annual stickers.
Do you want to bring that stuff back to the
Mhm.
next meeting then?
We'll bring how much revenue, so you guys know, how many people do buy the double, triple boats. I mean, that's something you guys should know. We can easily bring that back. That'd
Right.
be easy. Help you make the decision. Is it
Sure.
$10,000? Is it $100? I don't know. We can figure that out, but
Yep.
I think
I don't-
before you guys make the decision, it'd be good to know that.
I don't care what we do, they're still gonna find a way to beat it. They all do that. I mean, that's
Right.
just simply human nature, but
Yep.
we're making it harder than it really is, I think.
Making it simple would be a good
Yeah.
thing.
I
Yep.
think we gotta make
Pretty
it
simple
simple.
process.
Sure.
Yeah, you just come back with something next time. We can.
Yep.
Everybody kind of in agreement on that?
Yep.
And if you guys think of things in between, contact Ginger about, do you want the fees to be the same? If you
Yeah.
do have 2 separate stickers, it's the same fee, is the kayak fee less, whatever.
Yep.
But it's in our ordinance, so we do have to modify in the municipal code
Yep.
how we do this, so it would be a municipal code change.
Director's report.
All right, I included that in my memo. Some notable things, the years of service. Bob Cup, our senior transit driver, he's been with us 2 years on August 5th. Michelle has been with us 4 years. I remember the day she started because I was off on vacation. And then Mike Buckman will be completing his last working day on August 5th. Just want to give him a great shout out. He is such a great worker, such a great work ethic. So his knowledge will be greatly missed. I know he's trying to spread it around as much as possible this week to get guys on his tasks. So those are just what I have right now.
Yeah, I don't have anything. Committee members, anybody got anything from the committee?
No, as far as future agenda items, see if we can get Lauren Deek to come in here from Outagamie County.
Yep, I spoke with him this week. They are not ready with their court plan. He said that October would be the best time for him. September, he's on vacation, so,
I think he's in Clintonville, boy.
yep, yeah. Yep, I've been contacting him, so
Okay.
Park tour?
we can do that in September. Yep, that's no problem.
Where do you want to go?
Yeah, where do you want to go?
Where do we want to go? What parks we want to go to?
Mm-hmm.
Hatton?
I think it'd be important to take a
look
look
at
at the
Hatton?
Hatton Wall.
Probably not the most appropriate.
Make sure you bring your bug spray.
And
boots.
I don't know, maybe down by the new docks down there by the,
Sure.
New docks in Hampton Park.
well, not new docks, but not Hatton, St. John's, yeah. Down by the bakery, by the bakery. Look at, so everybody can see how those things work. Because there's a lot of people here that probably have never seen them.
Oh,
Just
Oh, yeah.
remember, next month is a double meeting because of Labor Day.
Labor Day.
Oh, yeah.
Works is gonna be Tuesday,
Oof.
and Parks and Rec after that, so you got a double meeting that day in
We have to go
September.
to
We're gonna
October.
put off to October.
Just saying, I mean, it's
Go to
gonna,
October for a park tour.
Sure.
Yeah.
and we used to do that you actually had the meeting at a park. You could do that. You could call a meeting to order at Hatton Park if you wanted to.
Might as well park meeting
Yeah, we
in a
can talk
park.
about that, see if that-
Mosquitoes
everybody
would
would
be-
do that.
So
one of the- yeah.
Lauren's supposed to come in October. I don't know if he wants to do a tour with us as well.
Like Johnny said, the bugs will be a lot better. in
Less,
October.
yeah, yep.
He couldn't come next time, huh?
We
Next
call-
month?
No, he's on vacation.
Maybe we call it, either we call it in order right at the shelter or here and then go on our tour. Lauren doesn't necessarily have to.
Yeah,
You could give a meeting and then he can leave right after the,
Yeah,
have him first on the agenda.
absolutely. Yep,
Or put him on the agenda first.
yep.
Yeah, we could meet like up at Hatton Park there by the pavilion.
Yep.
We've done that before.
Mhm.
You got a double meeting, you're gonna.
No,
Oh,
in
we're going to October.
We're gonna move it.
We're gonna move it to October.
Okay.
One thing I'd like to add for future agenda items. Sorry for the late notice, but I was playing tennis with my girls last night at Hatton Park. Those tennis courts are getting really bad. I was wondering if we could talk about that, what our plan is. I know the school has talked about joining us with getting WIAA approved tennis courts. So I guess future agenda items, can we talk about the tennis courts?
It's a good point. In the last probably 3 months, I was invited to a school district meeting where they talked about it, and they're still, last I heard, they're still looking at doing an 8-plex up at the high school and not jumping on board with us. So, and I haven't heard if that's official yet, but at that meeting, they're still talking about that.
That was brought up before. They didn't want to invest any money into
Yeah,
into
so
Hatton
we've been
Park.
kind of waiting in the wings to see what they're gonna do, because if they're not gonna do that, then yeah, let's team up. If they are gonna do that 100%, then we really need to look at, okay, do we need all these park courts if they got an 8-plex up there, and should we repurpose ours? So we've been kind of waiting in the wings.
Yeah.
Is
because
the
of
one at the school going to be open to the public though?
I sure hope it is. If it's tax dollars, I would.
Well, I mean, like the
Hope it is.
football field, you can't just go play on the football field.
Wasn't there a cheaper option that we could do with the tennis courts?
Mhm.
That was, I don't know if you were involved with.
Long time ago.
We looked at this a couple of years ago and there was another option. It wasn't for WIA didn't approve that coding, wasn't it?
We could, the 3 options, we had a consultant come out to, because they were getting bad. So we had a consultant come out to really tell us, were they salvageable or were they needed to be replaced? And after the investigation, you can only resurface your courts so many times and it just gets so bad. And they are to the point that they are, we can resurface up, but we're throwing our money away for the longevity of the resurfacing. You're not going to get your money's worth out of it. So there were 3 options. Number 1 was to tear them out, resurface them with asphalt. Option 2 was resurface them with asphalt, but then crown them better because they're not pitched perfectly today. So that was a little bit more expensive. Option 3 was concrete, which lasts a lot longer. Option 4 was concrete and then pitch it right. And then number 5 was crack filling and then sport court. So sport court is a tile surface that, it's got
Yep.
holes in it, and then
Good stuff.
basically it just floats on top. That is a really good recreational type court surface, but not something that competitive teams like to play on, because if the New London team practices on that court, they get used to that court. And if they go to an away game without that court, they're at a disadvantage, and vice versa. If we have home meets and we got a sport court plastic surface and other teams come here, they're not used to that. And then they're at the disadvantage. So unless everyone in the school district has it, then everybody wants to be on the same surface that they practice on with all the schools. So that's why the school district didn't really want to get on board with the sport court surface, because you're at a different surface compared to playing. at other
We were
teams.
kind of waiting to see what the school was going to do. That's why the courts are like they are. We were kind of waiting to see what the school was going to do. Because we didn't want to invest something that wasn't going to work out. I think this was like.
Ginger,
about-
maybe we need to reach out to the school and just. get an
Yeah,
update
I
to
have a
see where
meeting
they're
with
at.
Phil next week, so I'll talk to him then.
Perfect.
If you just Google County Post tennis courts, you'll see all the stories that were 3 years ago that
Sure.
Scott Belisle did. That was everything Chad just
We've been talking
explained.
about
I
it
think
for
it
a
was
while.
about three
Scott
or
covered it
4 years ago.
extensively.
Yeah.
Yep. And we got cost estimates for all those options, but they're from
3
3
4
years.
2018. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've been wondering about that myself too, because just kind of dropped off waiting for the school district, but.
All right, I guess we got everything covered. You said that
Construction. on
hike
that.
is coming. Confirm the next meeting Tuesday. That'll be the 7th. That'll be after you then, Mike?
I'm assuming you want to do Public Works first and then Parks and Rec follow.
I think so, because you people are set up for 4:45. We are set up for 4:30.
Waste
Start
15
changing
minutes.
the time. I mean, that seems to work out the best. Park and Rec is usually in their heads, they're coming a little bit later than we are. And sometimes we can push our meeting a little bit faster,
Right? Anybody got any?
better than if we would try to go second, we would have to be telling people, don't show up until
Yeah.
5:30, 6 o'clock.
Anybody have any objections to having the meeting after Public Works? I guess we'll have meeting after Public Works then.
If you want to talk about letter B, 9B.
Oh, special events and the food
Oh,
trucks.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we skipped it. So in one of our department head meetings, I had brought up just that Michelle is working on updating the rental guidelines. So like what people get when they rent our facilities, because we had a rental that came in and brought a food truck in underneath our nose, and we're selling food to the public, and that is prohibited. So I wanted to make sure that that was included as a question in our rental guidelines. Are you bringing in food? Because then you need, or that you're gonna sell. So with that being said, Nicole had actually brought up, the food truck permits and things like that people get when they are gonna sell like hillbilly barbecue across the street and things like that. And so we really don't have anything in our special events packets either about food trucks. So Chad and Nicole and I are going to be working on updating the special events to include that food truck information, and just making sure that all of our bases are covered, because I know that that event with the park rental really kind of ruined another rentals day because we didn't know about it. So
And not necessarily that it's illegal or something. but it
Right,
needs to be
no, but-
regulated. And,
right.
we just can't have people just all of a sudden jump up a profit business, jumping into a park and just start selling things.
Right.
It's got to be regulated and stuff like that. So we need to work on that a little bit.
Well, For
more.
health reasons, you want it.
Well, and just, I mean, that's like saying that anybody from, and I had this situation in Brilliant, that a tool company came into a park one time and just started selling. And then the local True Value store had a bird on that because they were selling on public property. So
Mhm.
an example of, we got to regulate what's being sold on private or public property.
Mhm.
So.
Anybody
And
got-
make sure that it aligns with the city's policy on food truck permits and issuing those. So,
Solicitation
right.
permits.
Yep.
Anybody? Entertaining a motion to adjourn?
Yep.
Motion made and second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.